Hey everybody, it's Gray again. It's another edition of Unbreakable, the podcast. Oh my God, I am back, at least for one day. I had double the fun recently. Two, not one, two kidney stone surgeries recently within the last 2 weeks. And hopefully they blasted those little buggers that Kingdom Come, and I'll never have any problems with them again. I doubt it. But they got rid of the ones that were causing me a lot of pain. I'm still in a lot of pain from the aftermath, but I'm getting there. Little by little, I'm getting there. But all kinds of shit. Antibiotics I'm taking, pain pills I'm taking, just really shitty stuff. Anyway, I had to come on and say rest in peace to my main man, Pope Francis. Now, I've talked about this guy before. Love Pope Francis. He was a guy who'd been living under a rock. He died overnight, 88 years old. They thought he was going to die like 2 months ago. He had all these cardinals come on and say, oh, well, the Pope's ready to die. Let's all pray for him. He's ready to die. Well, not so soon. Yeah, he had double pneumonia, which is really tough, especially at 88 years old. And the guy already had one partial lung taken out when he was younger. So, yeah, it was tough. But I said, he's not ready to die yet. And give the guy a break. Now, he did. He rallied, got out of the hospital, spent a little time back home again. But now yesterday, Easter Sunday, hope everybody had a happy Easter. He was out and about. He got his little Pope mobile there. He was riding around, vroom, 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 around Vatican City there, the circle, and waving to people, blessing people, that kind of thing. Did he look good? No. Looked like death warmed over. But now it is what it is. The Pope was sick. So, and who would have thought that like one of the last people he would meet with was J.D. Vance? Can you believe that? I bet you he never thought. The Pope met a lot of dignitaries during his life, a lot of famous people. Remember when he was boxing with Sylvester Stallone not that long ago? And but I bet you he never thought the last person I would ever meet with on Earth was J.D. freaking Vance. I mean, what the hell? And they didn't bring him anything. Usually when you go visit somebody who's sick, you bring them flowers or candy or get milk cart. And the hillbilly, he didn't bring him anything. Instead, the Pope is giving him stuff. He gave him a chocolate Easter bunny for his kids, which is nice. You would think J.D. Vance would give him some anyway. What a backwards weirdo guy. Not the Pope, J.D. Vance. Jesus. Huh. Anyway, the Pope was just a, a nice guy. He was a bouncer before he became a priest. He was a bouncer in a nightclub. I mean, not a big guy, but a tough guy, solid as rock. And I think, in other words, he could kick your ass. The Pope can kick your ass. He really could. He didn't want to fool with the guy. So, but he led a life of, he took the name of Francis when he became Pope because one of his main guys in life that he tried to emulate was St. Francis of Assisi. Well, I love to because he's a patron saint of animals. He's always got birds around him and dogs and all kinds of stuff. So, the Pope is, I'm going to miss the Pope. I have to say, in my lifetime, and I've been alive, 138 years now, there's been great popes. There was the Pope John Paul II. Now he was an actor, former actor, employed, and I've never that one video got into the batting cage. John Paul, he had his robes on and everything, his white robes, and he's hitting batting practice. He's taking batting practice, just like any other guy. So, but there's some great popes in time. And I had to list Pope Francis. I remember when Pope Francis came to Philadelphia 10 years ago, 2015. And the media, Pope media, was all over the city. There's soft pretzels that look like Pope Francis. There's tasty cakes. There was all kinds of Philly tradition stuff. I remember he did the thing, we did a little speech at Independence Hall, and he was around the area for a couple of days. And then they had this show on at night. I remember watching it. They had all these celebrities on with the Pope sitting there in his chair. And I remember Aretha Franklin. Aretha Franklin was on the show. And she was supposed to sing like the Our Father or some religious hymn. And she just went off. She went off and she started singing whatever the hell she wanted to. And she's going off. And the Pope is just sitting there in the background. You could see his face. He's like, what the hell? What is this broad singing? It was almost like, get me out of here. Why did I come to Philadelphia? So, Aretha Franklin, she's gone down too. But I remember that. But he visited Philadelphia 10 years ago. He said Mass, McDougal, and what a great experience, huh? The people who were there who actually saw it. Well, all I can say is rest in peace, Pope Francis. Thanks for your service. Thank you for being in our lives. And there's certain people in your life you always remember. Like I remember Princess Diana, because she was around. Mother Teresa. There's a lot of people since I've been alive really stand out. Prince. It's just people like that, who just unforgettable people. And certainly Pope Francis qualifies. So let's talk a little baseball. Right? And Phillies took 2 out of 3 from the Marlins over the weekend. Hey, as long as you take 2 out of 3 every series, you're doing good. But yes, they really should have swept that game yesterday. They were up, what was it, 4-1, and they blew it. That bullpen sucks. I can't get over the fact that they've invested so much money in this team. I mean, Harper, Turner, right? Castellanos, Schwarber, Realmuto. They got starters. Wheeler. They're all doing a job. And yet, the organization has gone really cheap when you talk about the bullpen. Instead of investing in really top flight relievers, they've been going to back Clinton plan, getting secondhand washed up has-beens in the bullpen. Old guys who are breaking down, and you can't do that. Should have went out during the offseason, got Mason Miller from the A's, this young fireball closer. That's what the Phillies need. They need a closer who's going to come in every game, 9th inning, 99% of the time. He's going to save the game. They really don't have that. You have a good closer. Everything works off that. All of a sudden, Jose Alvarado doesn't need to pitch in the 9th inning. He can be your setup man in the 8th inning, and everything trickles down. Of course, the Phillies let Jeff Hoffman go to Toronto instead of re-signing him. They got Jordan Romano instead, who sucks. So, David Dombrowski, the GM, has not done a good job. He has not done what it takes to make this team better, either in the off season or at the trade deadline. He always says, "Oh, we'll wait till the off season, we'll do something. Oh, wait till the trade deadline, we'll do." He does shit. He doesn't do anything. So it's his fault. This team, the window is closing. Its stars aren't getting up. Now is the time to go all in and make this team better, get into the World Series, and win the freaking World Series. Who cares about these young guys, Justin Crawford, Aiden Miller, Andrew Painter? They may be up into the minor leagues another year or two. But what happens when this core group, Turner, Harper, they get too old, right? I mean, sometimes you gotta go for it. Sometimes you gotta strike while the iron's hot. You gotta forget about all these so-called prospects, because that's what they are. They're just prospects until they do something in the major leagues. So me, I would have traded whatever it took to get Mason Miller. And you have a solid bullpen then, and you can make a really legitimate run for the World Championship, the World Series. So Phillies have to piece it together and tell you what good are these starters giving you 7 innings if the bullpen blows it like they did yesterday. So Phillies go up, play the Mets, big series in New York starting tonight. It's revenge time. Phillies have not played the Mets since they lost to them in the playoffs last year. It'd be nice to go up there and take 2 out of 3 from New York. And they certainly have the pitchers to do it, even though Aaron Nola has gotten off to an 0-4 start. He should come around. He usually pitches well up in New York. Christopher Sanchez has been probably their most consistent pitcher so far. And Zach Wheeler, who always pitches great against the Mets. Those are your 3 starters going into this series. Phillies have to take 2 out of 3. New York is in first place in National League East. The other teams are irrelevant. Washington, Miami, even Atlanta, they've all buried themselves in hole. They're not going to be there. You know, the games in April mean just as much as the games in September. Don't forget that. So everybody says, oh, Atlanta's going to get Acuna back, Strider. They're going to make them. They're not going to. Atlanta buried themselves. So it's really Phillies Mets. That's what you have to focus. The Phillies have to play well when they play the Mets. And this is their first shot. I still think in the long run, Phillies overtake the Mets and win the division. NL Central, that's a mishmash. You know, right now you've got the Cubs who are in first place. And they have a really good hitting team. Kyle Tucker, the guy the Phillies did not get, playing a hell of a ball out there in Chicago. But their problem is always going to be the pitching. Is the pitching going to be able to hold up all summer long? I mean, the Cubs, you know, they're a good team. We're not talking the 1927 Yankees here. Come on. And Milwaukee's that. I'm not in love with Milwaukee. The one team that I really love in that division, Cincinnati Reds, they're 11-1. So it's like nobody wants that division. Cardinals aren't good enough. They stink. The Pirates stink. So what's going to happen, right? American League West. A lot of good teams out there. But the Dodgers are not in first place. San Diego is. San Diego, the Giants are right there. Even the Diamondbacks are still in a couple. The only team that really sucks out there is Colorado. So I still think in the long run the Dodgers take that division, but San Diego is not going away. I think they're going to give even the Giants. I think that's why I thought the Dodgers win 103 games over 103 games. No way. And that's why I went for the under, because Dodgers are in a tough division. Plus, everybody's going to be gunning for the Dodgers. They're the world champs. The Dodgers can't be as hungry as they were last year. So, Dodgers are going to be good. Don't second guess me. Dodgers have a solid team, but I still think they're a great, great team. Hey, you know what happens whenever there's a life event? somebody's wife has a baby, birthday, anniversary, whatever, guys usually play well. It's happening. Shohana Tani, his wife, girlfriend, whatever, just had a baby over the weekend. Expect Tani and big games tonight. Last night he went 0 for 4. It was his first night back. But I would say Otani's got a big series coming up. It always happens. Bryce Harper, birthdays, wife has a new kid, comes back and he's over. It happens all the time. Athletes perform better when there's a special occasion. American League East, I thought Baltimore was going to really do well this year. They just don't have the pitching. So they improve the pitching. They can have all the young stars that they want. They're just not good at it. Neither are the Blue Jays, the Rays. I thought Boston would be better. Almost out of, how should I say, not that I like them, but the Yankees. You gotta say the Yankees were in the division just because of their hitting. Judge, they're not any great shakes. Don't get me wrong, the Yankees, but there's nobody else that I could see who's going to contend. Now the Orioles might come around, especially if they get some decent pitching, but right now they're not doing it. American League Central, I told you before, I love the Tigers this year. I thought Detroit's going to take that division. If not Detroit, don't underestimate Cleveland. Everybody was saying, Cleveland's not going to do it. But don't forget, Cleveland got almost to the World Series next year. Why are you discounting the Guardians? I don't think the Royals are ready yet, as we see. And Minnesota and the White Sox, obviously. So, the American League West, I told you before the season began, listen to Daddy, the Rangers are going to take that division. They know what it takes to win. They've won the World Series 2 years ago. They're going to have a good year. Astros, stinking cheated Astros are up there, but I don't think they have what it takes. Seattle, you always hope Seattle breaks out, but they never do. They have great pitching up there, but they can't hit worth a thing. No, I would say, they need to trade with starters and get some bats into team if they ever want to break out of the funk and get into the playoffs, get to the World Series. So basically, the teams that I picked before the season started, I picked the Phillies in National League East. Okay, they're second place. They're still up there. I picked Cincinnati to win the Central. They're up there. The Cubs are leading, but Cincinnati's not far behind. I picked the Dodgers to win NL West. I did pick the Orioles to win the AL East. They're not up there. It's a long season. Picked the Tigers to win the Central and the Rangers to win the AL West. So not too bad. Not too bad so far. My predictions are pretty much on target. But we'll see what happens. And Phillies have to, they're playing pretty decent ball. You put Bryson Stott as leadoff hitter, which they should have had him all along. Yeah, you got Kyle Schwarber batting clean up behind Harper. Somebody's got to protect Bryce Harper. If you don't have a good hitter behind Bryce Harper, they're going to pitch around Bryce Harper. All these teams figure that out. They're not going to give him a strike to hit. If Bryce Harper gets too anxious, he's going to start flailing away at balls in the dirt. So you got to have a power bat behind Bryce Harper. You've got to do it. The Bryson Stott is the ideal leadoff hitter. He takes a lot of pitches. He can get a walk. Doesn't strike out as many times as he used to. Usually puts his bat on the ball. When he does get on base, he has speed to steal bases. The combination of Stott and Turner at the top are ideal because they look at a lot of pitches and they have speed in case they do get on base pass. So I like what the Phillies are doing. Defensively, they have their times. We're a little shaky. The bullpen is my major concern. And Dave Dombrowski needs to get off his ass and find some legitimate relievers to help this team out. It's still early. We're not out of April yet. But as I said before, the games in April count just as much as the games in September. So, gotta win these games. Phillies are on the road. 3 in New York, 3 in Chicago for the Cubbies. So, big road trip before the team comes back. NFL draft this week. It's always fun, isn't it? First round, Thursday night. Eagles are slated to pick last 32. You know Howie Roseman. He always makes a deal. I would be surprised if the Eagles stayed at 32. I think they're going to move up a little bit. This team doesn't have any obvious needs, but I think they could use some help. Always use some help on the lines, pass rusher. Can use some help in the secondary. They need to add some depth. On offense, tight end. You find a good tight end in the draft, that's great. And maybe you can let go of Dallas Carter. I wouldn't let go of him so soon. Don't, Howie Roseman thinks twice about that. You don't want to part ways with Dallas Carter if you don't have something to fill in for Dallas. Tight end is an important position in football. So don't overlook tight end. Okay? So draft is always an interesting time. Eagles have a lot of picks in the second, third round, fourth, and fifth. So between Friday night and the early part of Saturday, the Eagles should be busy. Well, let's see what they do. Sixers, mercifully, their season has ended. Oh, God. What a pathetic team, huh? Pathetic. And yet, that equally pathetic GM is coming back with the equally pathetic head coach for coaching under the equally pathetic owner, Josh Harris. He doesn't give a damn about the basketball team. He's only worried about his football team, the Commanders. So Sixers have a lot of work to do. Will they pick high in the draft? Right now, they're slotted at number 5, but on May the 12th, I believe, which isn't that far away, we get the lottery. Will the Sixers end up in the lottery? No, if they don't end up in the top 6 picks, their pick actually is surrendered to Oklahoma City because of some stupid deal that Daryl Morey made back in 2020. What a jerk, huh? NBA playoffs, off and running. Pretty much know what's going to happen. Boston won yesterday, Cleveland won. This is all, I know you got to play it out. We know what's going to happen. In the East, it's going to come down to the Celtics and the Cavs. We know that. In the West, the Thunder is going to get through there. Who are they going to play against? I don't know. Could it be the Nuggets, the Timberwolves? That part of it is going to be worth the play. The Warriors won last night. So that's going to be interesting. To me, first of all, in the West, don't overlook the Nuggets. You can't overlook the Nuggets because they still have the best player on the planet. Nikola Jokic. You can't, my dogs. You can't overlook the Nuggets as long as they have the best player on the planet. Otherwise, the Thunder, wow, Thunder won by 51 points yesterday. Wow. Thunder, you got to deal with the Thunder. They're a great young team. And, you got the Cavaliers and the Celtics. I don't think the Knicks are good enough. Pacers, all these wannabe teams in the East are good at it to get to the finals. Well, come on. just kind of wasting the time. But it's all going to play out this week. We'll see what happens. Flyers, of course, did make the playoffs again, 5 seasons in a row. Are they going to pick high in the draft too? No, one of these winter teams need to get it together. At least the Flyers are kind of rebuilding. The Sixers are like in no man's land. They're like in purgatory. You know, what the hell are they doing? I mean, they have no plan. They have all these guys who are injured, who may play next year, may not play. I mean, the Sixers are a hot mess, really. So that's where it is, you know? I'm enjoying the NBA playoffs, though. It is what it is without our team. I'm going to enjoy the NFL draft this week. Hoping that Howie Roseman will work his magic again. And as we go through the repeat in the fall. By the way, in case you guys haven't heard, especially the Dallas Cowboy fans, the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Super Bowl champs. Go Eagles. There you go. And as I said, Phillies, long way to go. I have no doubts. Phillies are going to win the division, going to win the East, get into the playoffs. But I'll be the first one to say it. If the Phillies intend to make it to the World Series, they need help. They need to improve that bullpen by the end of June. David Dombrowski, damn it. But I don't know if you're going to wait till the end of July or if you got something cooking right now. You got something cooking right now, buddy. Cook it. Bring it out. Bring it out. We need some bullpen help now. Okay? Not later, now. So it will be interesting to see what the Phillies do later in the season. For now, hey, I'm just happy we have a contending team. You know, we're not wasting our time in the summer like we have so many times before. You know, wouldn't you hate to be like a White Sox fan or something? The team that has like absolutely no hope for the Rockies or across the state, the Pirates. What a pathetic organization that is, huh? Every single year. They have one of the most beautiful ballparks in the major leagues. And every single year, the Pirates, their team they are pathetic. And they're not even in a division that is that tough. You know? You would think one of these years the Buccos would get it together and would take hold of that division. But it never happens. Their front office is pathetic. Oh my God. I could go out to Pittsburgh and run that team better than they do. Come on. They got a great young pitcher in Paul Skeens, but they have like little upside. I mean, what the hell? They draft high every year, but they don't do anything. They don't get good free agents. That's like that franchise, they're like a quicksand, you know? Anyway, I'm glad of the Phillies because at least we're there. We're in contention every week. That's all you can ask, right? Just be there every year. Maybe 1 year will be good enough to make it to the World Series and win the freaking series. And I hope it happens. Well, I hope you guys had a great Easter. I certainly did. I got some candy jelly beans, white chocolate, dark chocolate, milk chocolate, like Cadbury eggs. Everything that I know, right there. It was a prayerful Easter. I forget what Easter was all about, right? And it was a good Easter. I'll tell you what, didn't have any eggs. Whoa, those eggs, get a carton of eggs, what is it, like $800 now or something? But nice ham. Oh, how many we have? Did you guys have ham out there? Ham's associated with Easter too. Yeah. But it was a good Easter. Very good Easter. Could have been a little warmer, but hey, we loved it. I love Easter time because the flowers are coming out now. The dogwoods here in Pennsylvania are starting to bloom. And they don't last very long, But once they're out for maybe a week or two, and they're gorgeous, and they just start to come out. All the spring flowers, the tulips, daffodils, hyacinths, daisies, they're all coming out. It's a beautiful time of the year. And tomorrow I go to the Black Creek with Holly, our annual trip, and we get our summer flowers that we plant around the pond and throughout the garden. It's the best time of the year. I love my trip to Black Creek up to the nursery. And my short stories are doing great. 15 of them have been accepted. A lot of them have been published already. A lot more will be published by the end of the summer. It does my heart good. I hear back from an editor saying this and that story made him cry, actually. Yeah, that's all you can ask for as a writer, to actually help people to feel something. If the story moves them to tears, hey, the story has done its job, right? And my book, Stronger Than Bone, strong like wool, is almost complete. And hopefully one of these days I'll get that pen, visit with the great students down there. I'm looking forward to it. Had to cancel last week because of the damn kidney stones, but hopefully I'll get down there soon. Can't wait to get down there and talk to all those brilliant students down at Penn, led by my friend Allie. So, a lot happening here. I hope you guys are all well out there. And I'll be back soon. Who knows when? But we will meet again sooner than later. Everybody have a great week. Take care of yourselves. Peace and love. Rest in peace, Pope Francis. We love you. And yeah, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? You got the funeral coming up next week. Always an interesting kind of ceremony there. And then you got the conclave, just like that movie. Did you see Conclave? I bet you now people will be streaming it. Because that, first of all, is a great movie. Second of all, now it means something. It shows you what the conclave, what it's like to pick a new pope. And that's what we're going to be doing with next week. All these cardinals are going to get together in the Sistine Chapel and vote. Are we going to have our first American pope? Where's the pope going to come from? You know, it's very interesting. I hope whoever ends up as pope is the same personable, warm, compassionate, friendly guy that Pope Francis was. You know, to me, it seems like the church is going to elect someone who's more protocol, you know, fancy smancy, hoity-toity. You know, somebody who wears all the garments. Pope Francis did that. He didn't look shit. He said, hey, I am just like a servant of God. And if I wear sandals, I wear sandals. You know what? So what? I'm doing my job, right? And I don't need to wear the big hat, the pointy hat. I don't need to carry the stick. I don't need to do that. So anyway, it's going to be interesting who they do and whether that person is going to be the same character as Pope Francis or whether it's going to be a different guy. You know, back when I was growing up, they used to carry the Pope around in a chair. Remember that? Pope John the 23rd? This was a big guy, too. A big, hefty guy. And they would actually pick him up in the throne, the chair, and carry his ass around the basilica, around the ground. I felt sorry for all these guys. The Pope's guard or whatever you call it, had to carry him around in a chair. Oy, oy, oy. But, you know, a lot of these modern popes got rid of that, you know. Like Pope John Paul II, he said, you know, I want you to carry me around. What the hell? I have 2 feet, 2 good legs. I can walk a little, all right? I don't want anybody carrying me. It's sort of weird, isn't it? Think about that. So I don't know. We're going to go back to those days where they actually carry the Pope around. I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But this conclave is going to be very, very interesting. This is a time, all my friends, this is an important time in history. It's a time to never forget. You know, Pope Francis seems like he was around forever. He was only our Pope for 12 years. And that's usually the shock like popes because, you know, they elect popes when they're in their 70s and he was 76. You know, when he came into the job, he was like Trump. He came into the job, he was already old. He was like 76. How long is it going to be Pope? Well, you know, he lasted for 12 years. 88 when he died. So, uh, are you going to elect a younger guy this time? Or just or even older? Uh, Interesting, very interesting what happens. But this doesn't happen every day. That's my point. So take it all in, savor it, even if you're not Catholic. It's got to be a little mysterious to you too, because it is to me. I mean, the whole thing with the white smoke, you know, and the gray smoke, and the thing where they all get together in the Sistine Chapel and like debate each other. You know, it's all kind of mysterious, you know. And I'm sure politics go on, just like the movie where guys were like lobbying for themselves, or going for this guy, this friend, or whatever. Hey, if you get me in as Pope, I'll do something for you, blah blah blah. One hand washes the other, you know. Um, so it's is very interesting what happens. And then you don't know. They announce the white smoke comes out of the chimney, but you don't know who the Pope is. They just said, we have a new Pope. But you don't know until you actually see him walk up to the balcony there and show himself to the world and bless everybody. That's when you know, oh, that's when you know his name, what he looked like, what country he's from. Oh, that's from St. Francis, Pope Francis or whatever. Oh, that's John Paul. He's from Poland. You know, you don't know until that moment happens. It's historic. So, it's the next couple of weeks are going to be very much in history. So, we will have to see. Will Donald Trump go to the funeral? I don't know. Yeah, he and the Pope didn't actually see eye to eye. You know? You got one guy there who's like next to God, and another guy there who was next to, I don't want to talk about that. Let's not talk politics. But let's just say they didn't see eye. But there will be a lot of interesting angles in the next few weeks. Who goes to the funeral, who doesn't? The whole thing about the conclave, you know. And so we got some interesting times to watch. People will get pissed off too, because a lot of these ceremonies will happen during the day. Of course, Rome is 6 hours ahead of us. So if you got the funeral happening at, let's say, 11 o'clock their time, it'll come on at 5 in the morning here. And otherwise, it'll be on who knows when they pick the new pope. It may preempt some regular scheduled programming. God forbid you miss your Wheel of Fortune while they announce a new pope, you know? So, I'm looking forward to it. So, we'll see what happens. Okay, everybody. Peace and love. I give you my blessing from home here. And I say, everybody take care until I see you again. You go Phillies tonight. You got to win, especially this series. You got to, if you have any heart and soul, you will go up to New York and kick some ass. Don't forget what the Mets did to us last year in the playoffs. You got to go up there and pay that in hell. Go up back up there and kick some Met ass, okay? Go up there. And Kentucky Derby coming up this Saturday. Or next Saturday. I mean, there's so much going on, NFL draft, Kentucky Derby. I mean, geez, I love this time of the year now because it's sports and conclaves. It's a great time. Okay, everybody, peace and love. See you next time. I'll see you when I see you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.